What's up, everybody? I see Jack Tarlad, and I did see Legatus in the chat. I don't know why he's not showing up on my restream chat. But what's going on, guys? Jack, I don't speak that word. I see Dame Dunny, Dame Yo, Dame No, No Yo. Anta, I'm not even gonna try. Are you, Jack, are you okay? Like, I don't know. Dork Dake. I don't know what the heck's going on right now. I don't know if that's even the real Jack Tarlad, to be brutally honest with you. But anyways, hi guys. Welcome back to Dermy's Dictations now. Because it's not going to be daily. I'm trying to get this to be a once, maybe twice a week kind of thing that I just come in, do hang out with you guys, do a few things here or there. Like, I might do it again on Wednesday. Might is the key phrase there. I don't even know yet. But the main reason I'm doing this one today, I just felt like singing Bach Mita while we waited. Well, fuck you. I don't even know what that is. But the reason this is all going on today is because, well, it was between either doing an edited video of this or just deciding to do a live stream reaction, kind of like I did on Friday to the Melanie Mac thing. Now, thank God, this video that we are going to be reacting to isn't 30 minutes long. It's 16 minutes long, but it's still going to be forever. So there's going to be that to contend with. But yes, guys, if you like the stream, if you like this stuff, please hit that like button, share it with friends, get more people involved. And before we get too far into this, I'm going to mute Spotify real quick, including in my ears, because I like listening to Spotify, but I have, no, that's at 11. Let me, yeah, I have Spotify down to 1% and it's still super loud in my ears. Maroni Mercu. Yeah, that's right. We did that one. But before we get too far in, guys, today is a great day. Today is a fantastic day. Even though nothing really big happened, it's not like, you know, we ended up having the re-inauguration of the Donald Trumpist man. Oh, yeah, we gotta love it. We gotta love seeing Donald Trump come back into office. But just to acknowledge how monumental this day is, this is a post from Elon Musk I saw just before stream. And yeah, yes, President 47. Real quick, but this is from Alex Jones. Did I say Elon Musk? Alex Jones. This was on Twitter. And it's DC bar erupts into cheers as the return of Trump has commenced. And it's a 40-second little clip, and I just want to play it because it's so great.
And will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend. Preserve, protect, and defend. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. So help me God. So help me God.
You gotta admit that this is pretty based. This is pretty damn cool. This is a bar in DC, for crying out loud, and they're erupting in cheers as he is getting inaugurated. That's pretty badass and cool. But okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes of today, by the way, because this is going to be an awesome one. And by the way, I see more people showing up. I see Dom H in the chat, and I see Galen Tracy LLC. Howdy doody to you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful night. But I'm going to walk us through how I even learned about this video today, because I don't have a lot of peers followed or notifications on until today, honestly. But because of some of the Goonergate back and forth, and I wish I had this initial tweet that got my attention onto this, somebody mentioned some of the news stuff from a lot of peers, okay? And I can't remember who the heck it was that brought this up, but people were talking about how all the same people who are, you know, rallying against Melanie Mac and, you know, everything that's going on there, you know, similar people are responding to a lot of Pierce's new content and some of the stuff that's coming out there. So I just started scrolling her Twitter account and I started seeing her talking about, I guess, the rumors and stuff that have been coming out about her about potentially plagiarizing some content and doing some stuff with some people within the AAA game industry, which, I mean, come on, you worked for real quick, she tries to say she has never done anything with a game journalist in her entire life. She's never held hands with one or done anything with it. You worked for Rooster Teeth and dated a dude named Blaine who was a games journalist. So let's just put that one to rest. But anyways, I was trying to figure out what the heck was they were talking about. And then I saw this. I said what I said. I'm sick of fake gamers. I have no idea what the heck this video was about. It's from a year ago. I have no idea what's going on in this video. All I know is she's apparently sick of fake gamers. It's sponsored. So why don't we see what the heck she has to say, shall we? Because I thought that would be interesting. You know, well, I thought we could at least react to this. Again, this is a year-old video that is just now coming across my timeline. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the things she brings up are people that are rooting for games to fail. Wonder what that's all about, but let's take a look at this. I'm sick of the fake outragers. Yeah, I am too, but let's see what this is all about, shall we?
We're sponsored by my partner Geology. There's a new kind of fake gamer on the rise, and I, for one, am sick of it. You mean to tell me we're just letting these people walk the streets, pretending that they play video games, having opinions on video games, and they don't even like video games? Not
even that funny, but okay. I know I shouldn't be nitpicking that much, but I'm curious what's gonna happen
on my watch. I'm not having it. Genuinely though, this is a thing, and I do think these people are kind of causing problems, and that I have also contributed to those problems, and it only occurred to me recently. And so I wanted to make this video, which I'm sure is going to upset some people. But here we are.
I'm gonna make a video. Already out the gate, I don't like watching Alana Pierce's videos. They have some of the weirdest editing in them at all times, and she tries to be funny when she's no longer funny, and she tries to be relatable when she's not really that relatable. I mean, at the time she was working for Santa Monica Studios and a AAA game industry, so there's that. She looks like she's starting to pack on some timber. Well, this is a year ago, so this is before the being pregnant and having kids is a disability thing. So there's that. At least I think it is. What date? December. Yeah, December 31st, 2024. Okay, so yeah, a year ago. Oh, about a year ago. So let's see what else she has to say.
There is a recent and growing culture of people who just like hate video games being very involved in video game communities.
What do you mean by that? Are you talking about like Sweet Baby Inc. or anything like that? Are you talking about, you know, the activist communities and stuff like that? Are you talking about like individuals like Kinda Funny and all the game journalists right there? Because they actively hate video games and want to change it for their own reasoning. So I highly doubt it, but let's see.
I see it in my comment sections all the time, and I'm always like a little confused by it. Anytime that I've mentioned in any video the amount of good games that came out in 2023, there's always this response of people being like, actually, all games shit. Look at all the bad games that came out this year. The day before, I always have to look it up because I forget the name of the game. Skull Island, Rise of Kong, Gollum, all these terrible video games. All games are shit. They all...
Oh my lord. But Kong Island... and the King Kong game and Gollum were shit. Yeah, there's some good games, but there were also some very, very shit games. You can't square those away. You can't like make those go away. Why are you trying to act like those don't exist? Why are you trying to act like bad games don't exist? We could say, yes, there's a plenty of good games. There were some good games that came out this year. We had Black Myth Wukong. We had the DLC for Elden Ring. We ended up having Stellar Blade and Warhammer Space Marine 2. I don't know if Darktide came out this year or if that was last year, but we had Darktide come out. Like we do have good games coming out, but they do sometimes get drowned out by the fact that there's some really, really bad games. So yeah, so people want to also acknowledge the bad games. And yes, you're right, Galen, that was a perfect pause.
All have battle passes and microtransactions, and they're all garbage.
I mean, battle passes and microtransactions are just the way for studios to nickel and dime you to death. And essentially, yeah, they just want to steal your money for slop. It's kind of annoying. Honestly, like, they are getting super annoying, and I'm sick of it.
Which to me just directly translates to you don't play many video games.
So, and I carry Dermy through Darktide too. Bullshit, dog. I carry you. But Avowed is going to be awful. Yeah, Avowed is going to be just downright awful. Jesus Christ. But so because people are sick and tired of subpar games, you brought up Gollum and Kong, which were some of the worst games ever put out. And then people complain about microtransactions and stuff like that. You're trying to indicate that these people don't play games. I mean, there's tons of games without microtransactions. There's tons of games without that stuff. Elden Ring doesn't have microtransactions or a season pass. Okay. Elden Ring is superior than Gollum. Gollum, the freaking Lord of Rang Gollum. Remember that. There's plenty of games out there that are perfect examples of this, but because people are complaining about certain games, they're fake gamers. Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen Dermy blow up a barrel in quite a while. He's definitely losing his touch. Bullshit, Kel. I was blowing up barrels all the time in Darktide.
Like, if you think that all games have those problems or that all games suck, you're kind of firsthand admitting that you don't like video games, right?
Holy shit. I didn't expect to be pausing this much. So because people are putting out the negative games and the very bad games, that means they don't like games. I wish I had my clip. I wish I had my clip that I put in my recent video of Kitty from That 70s Show saying were you dropped on your head as a kid? Because that's all I'm thinking of right now is were you dropped on your head as a kid? Jesus Christ. It's called pattern recognition. Yes, John Smith, it is. It's called pattern recognition. And I'm never going to deny that there's not good games that come out each year, but it does feel like they're bogged down by the amount of crap we get. So if we keep getting served slop after slop after slop, and you want to say, we had all these great games this year. Well, yeah, we had a handful of great games this year, and then a bunch of slop. Like, here, real quick, what were some of the games that came out in 2023? I don't even remember. Games that came out. Okay. I need to get. I'm gonna refresh this because my thingy is not wanting to participate right. Okay. 2023. We had Starfield. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Marvel Spider-Man 2. Galen Tracy LLC for $5. Thank you very much, sir. Here, have a coffee on me. Oh, I thank you very much, buddy. Baldur's Gate 3 came out in 2023. That's a good game. Excuse me. The Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That's a good game. Final Fantasy, excuse me again. Final Fantasy, I believe this was 16. Yeah, 16 came out in 2023. Okay, that's good. Liza P, I heard great things about that. We had Diablo, which was mid. Resident Evil. Oh, that was the remake of Resident Evil 4. That was a good game. Wait, Dead Island 2. I guess there was a remake that I didn't hear about, but okay. Or wait, no, that would be the second Dead Island. That came out already? I heard nothing about it. After a little bit, I heard nothing about it. Okay, yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, which was okay. Alan Wake 2. Crap. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I heard decent things about that, but that was bogged down by ideology as well. It actually had some serious issues within the game that actually was crashing the game at start. So yeah, mixed. Armored Core. Heard great things about that. I don't know what Wulong is, so I'm not going to comment on that. Pikmin, Sea of Stars, Forspoken. Well, there's Forspoken, so Atomic Heart, which was mixed. Lord of the Rings, Gollum. Yeah. Like, there were some good games, yes, but there was also some garbage games. So just because people are pointing out some of the garbage games that they are constantly being served, I don't see a problem there. Like, I was able to point out a few mid games and also some really bad games that came out in 2023. So again, what's your issue? Assassin's Creed Mirage came out in 2023. Nobody talks about that game anymore. Heck, half the games that we see on here, people barely even talk about still. The only ones that they still talk about are Baldur's Gate, The Legend of Zelda. I still talk about Final Fantasy, but the rest of these are pretty much just ignored. Some people talk about Hogwarts Legacy, but okay.
That's what you're telling me. So that's my first thesis here. If you're the kind of person who says, oh, all video games are shit, you're not playing the right video games. There are a lot of really great video games that have come out this year.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Not all games are shit, but the vast majority of them are, so.
There are literally more than I would have time to play. You would have trouble while also having a life, even finishing the amount of games that were very, very, very good, that were not predatory and did not have...
Wait a minute. Hold up. There was plenty of games that came out in 2023 that you don't have the ability to actually sit down and play your entire life. But they exist, but you can't play them. But they exist. So how do you know? Seriously, Alana, how do you know that there's plenty of these games that exist? I agree with your point, but the problem is your reasoning here kind of falls flat, considering what you just said is basically that you couldn't play any of the really, really good games because you have a life. So what games did you play? Because if you played some of the games that were good, if you played like the 5 games that were good and the rest were slop, still the rest are slop. There's 5 great things there. 5 great things don't always hold everything up, so.
Predatory practices that came out in 2023. If you tell me all video games are shit these days, I suspect that you only play really specific kinds of AAA games, like really specific, like repetitive, potentially exploitative releases, and that I hope that you're able to broaden your horizon on the kind of games that you play, because that is an issue. If you only play games you don't like or only play bad games, not only are you not...
I play mostly retro games made before 2018. That makes sense, Galen, but okay, so are you just assuming that they only play one type of game? Like, if we take the games that came out in 2024, example, I know she's using 2023, but let's take a look at the games that came out in 2024. I could point to a lot of slop games that came out in 2024. Tons of slop games. Star Wars Outlaws is one of the biggest ones. We ended up also having Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Unknown 9 Awakening. Tales of Kenzaro Zawu wasn't really that big of a slop, but too big of a budget for what the game was supposed to be. Like, I can name game after game after game if we want to do this. Flintlock. So, but those are all very different games right there. They aren't predatory, but they push ideology, and they're very different types of games. There are RPGs, but okay, there's a bunch of games right there that aren't the same genre. Very different games. How can you say that one person keeps playing a bad type of game that is predatory or something like that? Or is this person just constantly doing this? You don't know that. You're just assuming that. But I did play a few new games in 2024, like Black Myth, Stellar Blade, and Path of Exiles 2, were all I can think for the last year. Those are good. I've heard good things about all those games. I never played Black Myth. Stellar Blade, I'm still waiting for the PC release, and I'm waiting for Path of Exile to have its full launch because I'm not spending $30 on it right now. And apparently it's also super hard and you have to actually pay attention. So yeah, I've never played Path of Exiles. I do like those types of games though, so I do want to play them, but it is what it is. But I mean, back to our point. So just because, again, I'm trying to rationalize this. So because a gamer complains about predatory practices, you think that they just play one type of game. But again, to my point, and I know I'm using 2024, not exact comparison, there's other types of games that were kind of garbage. So yeah. And also a lot of people acknowledge that, yes, Gollum, Lord of the Rings, the Gollum game, that was atrocious. So yeah, you had some decent games, but even you take Starfield, for example, in 2023, that was a complete and utter bomb. That was a disaster of monumental proportions that, honestly, I'm shocked that Bethesda even survives to this day because of how big of a bomb that was. So yeah, you can point out like the good games, but there's also bad games, and people recognize the bad stuff more often than the good stuff. That's not always perfect, but let's be fair here. People acknowledge the bad stuff more often. That's the reality of life. Galen, I got a PS5 just to play Stellar Blade. It's the only game I have for the system so far. I don't want to chip out that much money for a PS5, to be honest. Just to play Stellar Blade, I'll wait for PC.
Not going to like video games, you're also going to be giving those things money and thus creating more. The reason that we keep getting battle passes is because people keep buying battle passes. When people
I mean, yes, people keep buying battle passes. I'm not going to deny that part. People quit buying battle passes for subpar slow-up content, so then battle passes will finally go away. I'm not even going to deny that thing. But also, there's there is also an element of psychological manipulation that some of these video games do in the making everything sparkly, 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 and having all those things and constantly trying to push it on you. It's a form of it's the same psychology that Las Vegas does and a lot of these casinos do, in which they constantly try to get you to actually partake in their slop and get you interested in, you know, maybe gambling here or there because they're using these psychological tactics. They've also noticed these psychological tactics used on sites like Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth, because they want you to do this stuff. They want you to get this money. So we can say, yes, quit spending money on it, but we also have to acknowledge that there is a psychological aspect that the companies prey on, which is kind of disturbing.
people talk about like vote with your wallet with video games. The problem is we are voting with our wallets. The games community is repeatedly telling publishers that it will spend money on microtransactions and battle passes and pre-orders. Dear God, stop pre-ordering video games. I don't know why people do this. And I wanted to
Okay, let me tackle her point. Again, this is from 2023, but let's use 2024 for a good example. Actually, no, 2023 does work, because around this time, we started talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Sweet Baby Inc. How many successful games from Sweet Baby Inc. came out this year? How many successful games from 2023 did Sweet Baby Inc. put out that year? None. And yet companies still utilize them. So obviously this whole voting with our wallet isn't really working now, is it? Obviously, voting with our wallet hasn't been successful. Because if it has been successful, why do they keep going to Sweet Baby Inc.? Why? Because there's other aspects that they're taking into account. There's other things going on, Alyssa, that you don't care to discuss, but mainly because, well, let's just hop over here, you kind of agree with it. This comes from yesterday. Also, if eggs aren't $2 when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm effing leaving. Well, then bye. Because she's a leftist ideologue for a first start, so she's not going to discuss that aspect of like the Sweet Baby Inc. infection or anything that's going on there. But secondly, she doesn't care. She wants to say, well, we're constantly talking about voting with our wallets. We're constantly talking about this. We're constantly talking about that. Then stop doing it. You don't play games. You don't do this. You don't do that. Maybe people that don't like it have already said, hey, they keep trying to convince other people not to do this stuff. You think of that? And then they have to sit there and contemplate, why the heck are game companies utilizing things that people obviously don't like? Why is this happening? Have you thought about that, Alyssa? Have you thought about the people constantly pointing that out? Because it doesn't seem like the game industry really wants to change now, does it? For fuck's sakes. Ubisoft is putting out Assassin's Creed Shadows here in 2 months. Nobody wants that game, but they're still going through with it. Have you thought of that? Have you thought of that ongoing thing? This is from 2023. People have been talking about this for a while. What? But, oh, so all the people that just talk about it in a negative light just don't play games. I get it.
I'm going to make this video for 2 reasons. 1, to tell you about some of the amazing games that came out this year. And 2, to talk about, like, the separate parts of this problem, okay? Now, I'm not absolving the games industry of a lot of issues. There are a lot of issues. The problem that I have noticed is a culture of perpetuating the issues, which, again, I've contributed to. I think this has only happened more recently. We used to just forget about bad games. But now, when we talk about a game like The Day Before, which again I had to look at the name of because I always forget what it's called because it's so fucking generic. This was a game that effectively got skyrocketed to popularity because everybody assumed it would be a scam, and then it came out and it was bad, and then the servers were getting shut down. I actually haven't played it and considered making a video about it.
Oh, I remember this one. This was a scam. And no, you're recontextualizing everything. Nobody thought it was a scam to begin with, or if people did think it was a scam, it was a minority of individuals. People actually were looking forward to this, as was one of those people that was super looking forward to this. Bought the game and played it even. And yeah, what ended up happening was it was a scam. It was put out like very quickly. Game was unpolished. It was a complete and total slog. And then they had to issue refunds and the company went under in a matter of days. So you can talk about perpetuating the issues. You can talk about, you know, things like this happening, and you could say gamers are perpetuating the issues, but situations like this still pop up. We could point to, like, people were excited for this game. People were looking forward to this game. Not everybody thought it was a scam. You're recontextualizing the history of this to try to fit your narrative and your entire argument, but people were looking forward to this game. And then it blew up in their faces. This was a monumental disaster for our company, and I do believe lawsuits were filed. It's been a little while since I looked into this. So, okay, people bring this up as an example of a monumental failure within the gaming industry, and you're like, well, I mean, it's just one. Okay, pattern recognition. We see it over and over and over again. Why can't we acknowledge this?
And that's sort of when I realized the problem. That I know about this bad game, you know about this bad game, I would be telling you more about this bad game. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to play bad games again. It's funny. But why continue to perpetuate the bad and signal boost the bad so much when there are literally more good games than most of us can even afford to buy? The same.
Some of this I do agree with. Okay, I will, for the sake of argument and the sake of discussion here, I will say, yeah, even me. Sometimes we do point out all the bad stuff too much. You know, sometimes we can be just too negative. You know, here in this little area of stuff, we can be too negative. We can acknowledge all the negative stuff. I could keep talking about Sweet Baby Inc. and everything like that all day and night. And then I can acknowledge some of the good stuff as well. Like, I could come out and do that, and I try to actually talk about good content, good things. I know right now there's a big issue with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I got to be real honest with you. I think that's a lot of people making a mountain out of a molehill and some bad PR that's going on right there. I don't think that's a big deal, and I think that game's going to be super successful, and people are going to be very happy for buying that game. On top of that, yeah, I could point that out, but then you get the bad games. People talk about the bad games, and you could just say, well, we used to forget about the bad games back then. No, people still talked about bad games. You just didn't hear it as much. Part of this is also because of the internet, but people talk now. People have more ways of communicating, and you just don't like that people keep bringing up the bad games. Well, I mean, and Galen, you said it in the chat, make less bad stuff, then it won't be a problem. Yeah, legitimately, make less bad stuff. People won't be talking about the bad content over and over again. But there is a large amount of bad content that keeps coming out, and people keep talking about it. And they're saying, they're trying to tell the game industry, hey, this is garbage, don't do this again. Hey, this is crap, don't do this again. Why do you keep doing this? That's why people bring up the negative so much. We can also point out the positive. Again, I pointed out Darktide. I freaking love Darktide. There's some issues with the PC versions every so often, but outside of that, I love Darktide. I could be playing Darktide right now. I recently rebought Stardew Valley. I love Stardew Valley. Fun little game that I can turn on whenever I want and just sit there and play away. I like doing that stuff. But as much as I like doing that stuff, it does feel more often than not that there's fewer and fewer good titles. There's just more and more bad titles.
Same thing happened with Skull Island Rise of Kong, and the same thing happened with Golem, which again, I played on this very channel for longer than I played games that I really liked this year. I didn't play a game like Dredge, which is like absolutely one of my favorite games of the year. I did speak about it, but I didn't play it here. And we basically created this culture of like really signal boosting bad video games to the extent that I think it might be happening intentionally in some cases.
Okay, I'm gonna need to know what you mean by that, but so people play bad, we're signal boosting bad games. Shouldn't that be a good thing? And again, here's the point. Shouldn't it be a good thing that we are discussing the bad games and we're telling the game industry, hey, these are some really bad games. Don't do it again. Isn't that a good thing? I'm trying to find the logic here. I really am. Why is that a bad thing that we talk about what's bad? That we bring up what's bad? because you don't want us discussing what's bad. Well, if they don't know that something's bad, then they're just going to keep making what is bad. And you could say over and over again, well, vote with your wallets. Well, a lot of people have been voting with their wallets for quite a while now, and nothing seems to be changing. So you got to talk about it. You got to mention it. You got to bring it up. And if you're going to do the entire argument that, well, the more you talk about, the more you promote it, the better it does, that doesn't happen. Again, I'm using 2024 logic here, not 2023, but in 2024, this is actually several examples of this. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League bombed. We end up, if that's the video games. If we Star Wars Outlaws bombed, that's video games. We can then move over to the movie section. The Marvels bombed. People talked about that constantly. Total failure. Acolyte, total failure. People talked about that constantly. So if you're going to use the argument that the more you talk about it, the better you do, Dredge sucks. I remember wasting $20 on that trash. I don't even know what the game is, so I'm not even going to comment on it.
Spending so much time highlighting the things we don't like, which there are things in games that I think are the worst that they've ever been. There are things that I think are really, really, really bad. If you know me, you know I'm very anti-microtransaction. I've only bought one ever, and it was a dog in Sea of Thieves. Rare is one of my favorite studios. I'm happy to support them. I won't buy battle passes for any game ever. I feel negatively about plenty of parts of the live service push because it means that we are getting less video games overall and instead are getting more video games that want to consume and steal all of our time. Like that, I think, is a really negative part of the video game industry, that there are certain publishers that are trying to shift heavily towards specifically live services in the interest of monetizing the amount of hours that you play in a different way. And thus they kind of have to forcibly make games more addictive to keep you engaged in that one game, to keep getting money from you for 1,000 hours or whatever. Like that.
Yeah. I'm not denying that. Yeah. But also there's some pretty good live service games. Before Helldivers had its massive controversy, that was a live service game that was super freaking fun. Man, I do miss playing Helldivers. But I'm not going to give that company my money ever again. I'm not going to give them my time ever again. But that's a good example. Like, there's good live service games. Not all live service games are trash. Some are, some aren't. Okay. I mean, people praised Helldivers. People still love to play Helldivers, by the way. But people praised Helldivers. People are praising Marvel Rivals right now. People praise The First Descendant. People talk about the good games. And then the bad games still get talked about. It happens on both sides. Happens all over the place. But you're just the one focusing in on the negativity. People do talk about the good stuff. I remember people praising Liza P. People love that game. They still talk about that game. I never played it. I could have played it. It's on Game Pass, but I don't have Game Pass anymore. But like, you're just focusing in on the negativity. You're part of the problem there. And I know you're going to say you're part of the problem, but you're legitimately part of that problem. You're solely focusing in on the negativity.
That, I think, is a whole minefield that maybe I should make a separate video about predatory practice in the games industry or things that I'm really concerned about. I've definitely been meaning to make a video about advertising and how bad I think that's going to get. So maybe I'll do that soon. This video is not about that. There are things that I think are negative, and I don't think we should ignore those negative things. They should be spoken about. The problem is the speaking doesn't help very much. Not only are we advertising the games that we don't like in a lot of cases, and again, not talking about the games that we do like, but like I said, gamers are already kind of voting with their wallets. We are already...
Can I just point out that I guessed what she was going to say without ever knowing what she was going to say? Again, blind reaction. I figured out that she was going to utilize the argument that if you talk about the negative stuff, you just promote it to help it grow and stuff like that. Obviously, that doesn't make any sense anymore, especially because of the at least 4 examples I brought up this year. We also have more examples: Unknown Nine Awakening, Flintlock, that nobody even remembers that Flintlock came out this year. Tales of Kanzaro Zawu, we like anything from Sweet Baby Inc. this year. And like even back then, there's other examples of like these games not doing well. We can even talk about Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 came out in 2023. Alan Wake 2 has yet to make money. So that argument doesn't really make any sense and doesn't really work. And then you say, well, people are voting with their wallets. People are still utilizing Sweet Baby Inc. Your game industry is still utilizing Sweet Baby Inc. Gamers don't like Sweet Baby Inc. Gamers don't like this nonsense being shoved into games. Gamers just want to play good games and kind of be left alone. So why the heck are you bringing it up? Why are you talking about it? Quit talking about it. That's your argument. That's legitimately your argument here. And if we keep talking about it, we're immediately the negative Nancy's and we're not fake gamers, is by your logic. That doesn't make sense. Because I could talk all day and night about Stardew Valley. Again, I rebought Stardew Valley. That's an old game, but I really like Stardew Valley. I can talk about Final Fantasy 16. I do need to finish Final Fantasy 16, especially because I do believe this week Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth comes out to PC, so I'm going to start playing that. So yeah, there's that. But like I can bring up all these games that I do like. Okay. Talk about them negatively, doesn't support them, and doesn't promote them in any way, shape, or form. It tells people, hey, stay away from this stuff.
Already buying microtransactions, battle passes. That is why publishers keep doing it. You can scream about how much you don't like it, but that is what the industry is telling them is working. For as long as that keeps happening.
Have you ever thought that maybe they're trying to tell the gamers not to do it? You're saying, well, the industry keeps doing it because people keep buying it. Okay, have you thought, seriously, Alana, seriously, have you thought and contemplated at all that maybe the people that are ranting, raving about microtransactions and battle passes aren't talking to the game industry, they're talking to gamers? You're talking about this whole voting with your wallet. They're trying to convince other gamers to quit participating. Have you thought about that, Alyssa? I mean, not Alyssa, Alana. I had Alyssa Mercante on my head. By the way, I do have a Alyssa Mercante video I need to figure out, can I do a reaction to, or do I do a stream about? Because she sat down with she sat down with Taylor Lorenz, and I want to react to that, but I'm worried about freaking copyrights and stuff like that. So there's that one. But darling, what?
It's happening. That is not going to change no matter how angry you are on the internet about it, unfortunately. And
I mean, it will change if people start agreeing with them. It's not rocket science, Alyssa. I mean, Alana. Pfft. Do a stream for it. Here. Dom? Trying to think. I'm trying to think. If I put out I almost hit end stream. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to do that. If I put out a poll and that wins, I'll do it here in a bit. Here, I'll do it right now. All right, I'll do it right now. If this poll wins, I will do a full-fledged screen. I will do a I'll do a full-fledged stream on this topic tomorrow night. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow night. If only a great rack bench you could think. Yes, Static. If only. I'm retarded, but yeah. But here. Do I stream or record? Oh, I can't speak. Do I stream the Alyssa Mercante and Taylor Lorenz interview? Putting out a poll. Yes. No. And I'm going to set it for 12 hours. Okay? If it's a yes, I'll do it. If it's a no, I won't do it. But that's over on my Twitter right now. And yes, I wish a great rack would admit that she had brains, because she obviously doesn't. But what was her point that she was? Oh yeah, the whole if you keep talking about it, it's not going to change. No, if you keep talking about it, it very easily could change. Like, take Fractured, for example. I love Fractured, even though he's a black-pilled monster. Christ. But Fractured brings up good points on why you don't do stuff. He brings up tons of great points on why you don't do this, why you don't do that, why you don't participate here, why you don't participate there. And yes, it does make me want to strangle the motherfucker sometimes, but that's neither here nor there. He's doing that to convince people that, hey, maybe we shouldn't be a part of this. Maybe we shouldn't be, you know, playing along with this. Maybe we shouldn't be helping out with this. Maybe it's a bad idea. You know, it's a bad idea to be doing all this. Maybe you ever thought that maybe that's the reason he's doing this? Probably not, because you're you, but
I think this year especially, having Skull Island Rise of Kong and Gollum and the day before and that Walking Dead game that looked absolutely terrible all come out in the same year, I think we are actually moving to a movement where we are incentivizing bad video games.
How do you incentivize bad video games? How do you incentivize bad video games? What? That's like saying, oh my God, because people talk about the Marvels, we're going to keep getting the Marvels over and over again. No. No. What? This is literally if you talk about it, they're going to get more of it. No, it's not. You're retarded.
It is time to talk about geology.
Do I play through her thing here, or do I just skip it? Because I would love to just skip it. I would love to just skip it because she goes for freaking. I just looked at this. Everybody just skips it. Everybody literally just skips it because this is the most replayed part. People just skip it. I'm gonna skip it because I don't listen. You're somewhat attractive, Alyssa, but not Alyssa, Alana. But no, I don't want to talk about your shit.
Code is CharAlanaZod70 and the company is Geology, Geologie. Now back to the video. I think we are maybe
Gino Colley? I don't know.
Months away from probably smaller studios who don't care as much about their reputations. I think there is one that has already done this, intentionally making rage bait bad video games because they know that content creators will play them for free. It's very hard to get a content creator to play a game that you
This is weird watching this. Yeah, you don't shower, skip it. Oh, you don't shower, skip it. I shower, shut up. But this is funny looking back in 2024 at this video. We're very close to smaller studios putting out rage bait content that are gonna probably be rising up within 2024 because they know gamers are gonna be, you know, playing it and making rage bait content out of it. It's funny looking back at that, considering the smaller studios actually provided the gamers with what they wanted, considering I do know Stellar Blade came from a AA studio. I do believe Black Myth Wukong came from a AA studio. We also have games such as Space Marine 2 that came from a AA studio. And the vast majority of the AAA games that people were talking about this year in a negative light, vast majority of the games that people were talking about in a negative light came from AAA studios. So, Lyrian, BG3, oh, Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, she was talking about that. What's Lyrian? Lyrian? What was Lyrian? If this bites me in the ass, I'm gonna hurt you. Lyrian? Lyrian Studios, yeah. Lyrian Studios. Wait, I thought Lyrian Studios was a AAA thing because they did Lyrian Studios, Baldur's Gate 3. I thought they were AAA. I didn't think they were AA. They made Baldur's Gate 3. So she's talking about, this comes from a year ago, Static. But yeah, they made no, she's talking about like people talking negatively about video games and stuff like that. I thought this was a current video. I'm not even gonna lie about that. Now they're smaller dev team. So okay. I didn't know that. So if we take her logic, smaller studios are gonna be putting out rage bait content. Well, the smaller studios have been putting out the good games too. Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't know that was like a smaller studio and wasn't a AAA studio. Okay. That was the biggest game last year, and people love that game. Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 were good Larian games. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But like Liza P, that was a beloved game from 2023. That was also a smaller studio. That wasn't a AAA studio. Her eyebrows don't match her hair color. I should correct that. Shut up. Bad, Kel. Bad. God damn. Age has not been kind to her. I do have to say that.
Worked very hard on and really like, unless it exists as a well-known IP in the AAA space. Turns out getting people to play really, really bad video games, even the smallest content creators will do it, is really, really easy, to the extent that it is now, I think, we've created a legitimate business strategy. The specific...
How is that a business strategy? Seriously, how is that a business strategy? I want you to think this through. That's the face Kel wants her to make more than often than not. But I wanted you to think this through. How is it a business strategy to put out dog shit content just for streamers and content creators to play the game for free in your case, but maybe ship out a couple money, play the game, laugh at it, and then walk away from as they convince all their audience, don't play this game, it's garbage. How is that a business strategy? Make that make sense, Alyssa. Supposedly you worked in Santa Monica Studios at these AAA games and were assisted with writing and stuff like that. Shouldn't you know that's a waste of money? That is the dumbest idea ever out of financial aspect. Like, holy shit, she's retarded. But like, seriously. Do you think that Liza P was Souls like, yeah, I heard that. Hard as heck. Didn't finish it. Was what I did play. What you did play you liked. Yeah, no problem, Galen. I'm bad at reading anyways, but I heard good things about Liza P. But think about her logic there. Companies are gonna start coming out here intentionally putting out bad games because people are gonna play it and react to it. You don't know how streaming or content creation works then. You say you do, but you don't. Because the reason people watch, people like The Act Ma'am or Angry Joe when Angry Joe does a gaming video is because they played the game and they're going to tell you if the game's good or not. They watch streamers play the game so they can decide, hey, do I want to chip out the money for this game or not? So if you're giving the game out to a bunch of streamers for free and a bunch of reviewers for free, and it's a shit game, you're not going to make money. Gamers are going to look at it and go like, man, this is an awful game. I'm not buying money. I'm not putting money out for this. Heck, when Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League was $1, people still don't want to chip out money for it. People still were debating whether or not they should put out money for it. The game is free now, and people are still wondering, do I really want to get this game? I mean, it's free, but do I really want to get this game? So no. And again, this is from 2023, but come on. This is retarded. This is a retarded take. What the hell?
Publisher that I wanted to call out is a company called Game Mill. Game Mill made Skull Island Rise of Kong, and a report from The Verge revealed that Game Mill gave Iguana Bee, the developer, only 1 year to build the game from scratch beginning June 2022, which is insanity. You can't make a game in 1 year. Apparently 2 to 20 developers were working on the game at any given time, and the game was required to crunch in order to even finish the project, which still came out very bad, unfortunately.
Well, actually, and I'm not denying that this game was bad. It was atrocious. It was a bad game. It's bad graphics. Everything about it was bad. Even though it was fun to watch, James from Melee Games play it, because that was actually fun to watch it. But let's take note of this. They got 1 year and they made this in a year. And yeah, if you're gonna bitch about crunch, I'm sorry. I'm cry me a fucking river. Seriously, cry me a river about crunch. I get that you work overtime at that period of time, but more than likely you're getting paid overtime. So cry me a river. I had to work overtime several times this past couple of weeks. Cry me a fucking river. But okay, they put out a game in a year. That's actually kind of impressive. Was it a good game? No. Don't do it again. It bit you in the ass. It was never going to be a success. But I mean, they still did pretty good for what the times constraints and stuff like that they had. So okay.
Fortunately. It received super negative reviews. People said the game was ugly, full of bugs, very boring, does nothing meaningful or new or clever at all, terrible visuals, horrendous gameplay, awful level design, just overwhelmingly excessively negative, and of course the publisher knew about this. They rushed the game out within a year for some reason, and now all of us know what it is. This game has been so hotly spoken about, so much more than any of the good games that came out in 2023. Another game also from Game Mill Entertainment had a similar release this year. The Walking Dead Destiny.
Wait. So, okay, what's your point? Everybody knows that that was a shitty game, and they're knowing Game Mill did shitty shit. Okay, what's your point? I'm trying to figure out why you're bringing this all up, but maybe if I keep watching, because I don't know what you're trying to say.
Came out November 17, and it's considered to be one of the worst games of 2023, with Ollie Reynolds from Nintendo Life saying there is absolutely nothing here that has been executed well. It's a game that is simply rife with technical blunders, terrible production values, and broken mechanics. Two games from Game Mill that were probably created under the exact same circumstances that got so much attention for being bad. Watch whatever Game Mill's next game is. That's all I'm trying to say.
So if we all know that their games are atrocious, that Game Mill put out a bunch of atrocious games, and here's their games that were super duper freaking atrocious. You literally just said watch out for what Game Mill's next game is, but everybody knows these games now are garbage, and what they did was pure garbage. Isn't it a good thing that people know that Game Mill's pure garbage? Like, I'm trying to think your logic here, but I don't think there is any logic. I really don't. I think the blonde hair dye has actually seeped into your skull, and now you're actually a blonde. Jesus Christ. Like, people know about the studio now. People know that the studio puts out shit games. They're going to see the studio and go like, oh, that's the studio that puts out all these shit games. I'm not going to buy it. Isn't that a good thing that that's assisting with voting with your wallet? That's assisting with all that? Is that not something good? Please give me a justification as to why that isn't good.
I think we have potentially, unintentionally created a culture of certain publishers being like, wait, if we make a bad game and it only takes a year to make and with limited staff and we make them crunch for free, a bunch of people will buy it so they can talk about it. This seemingly will only work if it's an IP, because it kind of requires us to recognize the property, but
Jesus Christ, this really does look weird looking back at this a year ago. I mean, like, the video came out a year ago. I'm watching it, and it's like, wow, you're retarded. Jesus Christ. I've never... Knowing what I know now from what happened, this year, again, the Marvels, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, all this stuff. All your predictions were bullshit. Like, seriously. Why? Why would you put this out? Why would you put out this tweet? This is the sole reason I acknowledge that this thing is even going on right now. What did you say? What's the point? Sick of fake gamers. First thing, savvy. Sick of fake gamers. First thing to show up in the old video is a sponsor. Okay, Art Thief. I hate fake gamers. Sponsored by... I love this. The thing is, like, what are you even trying to talk about? Your whole points are bullshit. Why try to signal boost this video? Because it's complete and total bullshit. Everything has been torn apart in this video so far. Nothing you have said has come to fruition. And we have evidence to actually go against every single point made in this video. I just gotta say, you act like a blonde now. Jesus Christ, quit dyeing your hair.
We have created a legitimate business strategy for low-level or mid-level publishers who previously have a record of publishing some more creative titles. You can kind of get more creative and take more risks in that space. There's less to lose. In conclusion, we give a lot of attention to things we don't like in video games. I think there are a lot of people who involve themselves in video game culture who don't even really play video games and instead just watch angry YouTubers, a lot of whom, as it turns out, also don't even really play video games.
Because people aren't watching me and are deciding to watch people like Ryan Cannell play games, even though Ryan really doesn't play games, but follow me here. because they're not watching me. They're watching other people who are more honest and are more willing to tell you what the truth is. That's bad. This kind of just comes off as a cry sesh that you're not growing the way you want to do. But I mean, you have a successful YouTube channel. How many views did this video even get? Again, it's from a year ago. Jesus Christ, I'd kill for these views. I'd kill for these views, Alana. Well, none of your points came out to fruition. Everybody talked about this stuff and it didn't work. Wow. Wow. You're retarded.
We do not spend anywhere near enough time talking about the games that we actually do like and rewarding the things that we actually do like. I think the gaming community did a great job with Baldur's Gate 3 this year. Buying that game, telling the industry that you want something of that scale, that is a huge win for everybody, but we still...
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. People still talked about it positively. People still pointed out all the successes around it. There are some questionable activities that went on within that game itself. Some, more progressive things there here or there, but that was pretty much overlooked by the fact that it was a good game and people praised the game. And didn't it win Game of the Year that year? Was that Armored Core? I think it did win Game of the Year. So yeah, people know this game and people really love this game. So then why shouldn't they also talk about the very negative games? Give me the argument against that. Because your argument against that doesn't even make logical sense and is easily retarded. Like, it doesn't make even financial sense at the end of the day. And people are also pointing out, I pointed out Sweet Baby Inc. Companies are still working with Sweet Baby Inc. even though gamers don't want them to. And they're voting with their wallet. Sweet Baby Inc. hasn't had a single success this entire year. Why the heck are they still working with them? I don't see what you're trying to point out here at all.
Still got a bunch of fake gamers walking among us. And I fully feel that way about anybody who says all games are shit now. All games are bad now. Are they? The only way you can think that is if you don't really play video games and you only pay attention to people on YouTube. There's a lot that...
No. I highly disagree with this point because there's a lot of old school gamers that really hate modern day video games. There's a lot of people that really hate modern day video games with a passion, whether it be because it's no longer focusing on story or puzzles or things of that nature, but whether it be that they're focusing too heavily on storytelling and they're not focusing in on actual gameplay or any gameplay mechanics. You're a retard. There's just because people are saying all games are shit now doesn't just mean because they're solely talking about negative games. There's other aspects to this that you're not even taking into account. Thomas Tompkins Jr. does I'm trying to read that other. Dustborn was a great game. Oh, Dustborn was a great game. It should have won Game of the Year. Let's not talk about that, shall we? That was an atrocious game. Well, I mean, it's great in the sense that, holy shit, this actually came out here, and you question yourself, is this a legitimate belief system here? Or is it satire? Because you have no freaking idea. But, like, yeah, people talked about Dustborn. How did Dustborn do? I don't think your points actually make any sense.
It's wrong. I'm not removing that. And a lot that's bad and a lot that I find very concerning as someone who really loves video games. But there were so many good games this year that my guess is you just haven't heard of them. You just don't know about them because you don't really pay that much attention to video games. It's okay to admit that, fake gamer.
I get that you're trying to make a joke there, but you're just assuming that they don't. You're just assuming that they're even gonna like Baldur's Gate 3. There's a lot of retro gamers that don't even want to touch Baldur's Gate 3 because it's not a retro game. There's people that don't like a lot of the modern day video games because they're no longer rhythm based. They like the old Castlevania style. They like the old Metroid style. They like old Mario games. That's what they like. That's what they prefer. And that's what they want. Just because they want those and they think all modern games are shit doesn't make their point any less valid. That doesn't make them a fake gamer. That just means they don't like modern games. There's nothing wrong with that. That also means that game studios have a potential market there trying to target those gamers. Dustborn, 4 people are playing it right now. Static was one of those people trying to play the game. How far did he get it? I don't remember. How did Concord do? Seriously, how did Concord do? A lot of people talked about that game constantly. How did that game do?
In conclusion, I'm going to leave you with a bunch of these. Here are what I think are some absolutely incredible games that came out in 2023, a lot of which have not gotten as much attention as Gollum, or Kong, or The Walking Dead, or The Day Before.
Actually, here's a point. Here's a point against her. The Day Before, I heard about that game for 2 weeks and then never again. I haven't heard about The Day Before until you brought it up right in this video from a year ago. And I didn't hear about it since the disaster. And then everybody found out about it, and then I quit hearing about it. Gollum, yeah, I heard about Gollum for a while, but that was because that was a travesty and just all-around disaster. Skull Island, I think I heard about once. And then, like a month later, I ended up seeing James play it. Never heard about it again. Never even heard about that Walking Dead game until you brought it up in this video. So I think your point is moot because you're saying we all hear about these things over and over and over again. I didn't. I know about them, but I didn't really hear much about it. I mean, the Gollum thing continued going on mainly because, well, that was an awful situation. And the AI apology letter that they ended up putting out was even funnier. But okay, your point's kind of moot. People keep talking about Suicide Squad killed the Justice League because there's still news coming out about that game. They kept putting updates out because it was a live service. Now it's dead, but we ended up posting, like, nobody really talks about Unknown Nine Awakening still. That was a disaster of a game. Nobody really talks about Tales of Kizaru anymore. That was a disaster of a game, even though that game looks pretty not bad, but not great. Nobody talks about Flintlock's The Siege of Dawn. Nobody even recognized that game even came out. Nobody talks about it. So here's a bunch of really bad games that people have serious issues with that nobody really talks about right now. Out of all of them, there's one that people keep talking about, but that's because there's actual news that keep coming out about it. Dragon Age the Veilguard. Yeah, everybody kept talking about it as it led up. They talked about it once the game came out. They're talking about it again because the directors left. Okay. What's the next thing? You're basically complaining about news cycles at this point in time.
And that sucks. If you think all video games suck, try any of these. I'm not going to go with the super obvious picks that everyone's picking like Baldur's Gate 3 and Zelda and Alan Wake 2. So let's start with a franchise you probably heard of, but a series that I feel like never, ever, ever gets enough love. This is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future.
I've heard a lot about the Xenoblade Chronicles. You can't just jump into a Xenoblade Chronicles 3. You can't. You actually have to play every Xenoblade. You have to play every Xenoblade, every game up to this point. The fact that you're trying to throw people into 3 isn't going to work. You have to know what's actually going on in the grand story. Are you nuts? Now I'm thinking you're the fake gamer. I don't even play these games, and I know that fact. You have to play all the previous games. Jesus. I see what you said. Get bag and age, the gender card.
Redeemed. This game is, in my opinion, absolutely incredible. It has a lot of strength in both combat and exploration, and I think they really nail the pacing. It is so sharp and so fast-paced. Unless you don't want it to be, it's totally opt-in. And the story, especially if you've played the other games, is one of its best. I think.
Well, you kind of have to play the other games to know what the heck's going on here, so why the heck are you even trying to bring it up? And if you're going to say you can play it all alone, you don't need the other games, you're lying and you're not a fan of this. Kirsch, huge fan of the Xenoblade, I did it again. Kirsch is a huge fan of the Xenoblade trilogies and the Xenoblade games. She has said you can't just pick one up and play it. You have to play from the beginning. Like, it's insane. You have to play these in chronological order, or else you're not going to know what the heck's going on.
Quite effectively, and if you've never played any of the games, you will miss a little bit of context. I'd recommend just watching
the vast majority of the context, so shut up.
YouTube videos, but you will otherwise.
Oh, it's okay to watch YouTube videos now, but it's not okay to watch the negative ones. Okay. I think you're the fake gamer. Just pick it up. Just watch YouTube videos to figure out what you need to know, and then pick it up. No, you can't do that. And I know there's some of the games that aren't even on the market right now. You actually have to play it and have you learn what's actually going on.
I still have a really, really rewarding experience playing. It is basically Xenoblade Chronicles realizing what it was trying to be the whole time, getting rid of previous issues that some of the other games had, in my opinion, and coming up with something that is effectively the best of its genre. Next up is Against the Storm, which is obviously a very particular type of game, but again, if you're the kind of person who thinks all games suck, maybe try something that's outside of the usual genre, that's not the action-adventure that so much of the AAA space leans to. It's kind of a mixture of strategy and roguelike elements. There is a ton of randomly generated content, which means that every single time you play, things are going to feel incredibly different, and of course, it has a really satisfying gameplay loop, taking essentials from other.
Do I keep going on, or do I just start skipping forward? Because I'm getting really bored with this. It's just you promoting a bunch of games that I don't know anything about, and if I do know some of these games, I'll bring it up. But, oh, actually, I'm not gonna lie. This next game I have seen gameplay for, and I actually do kind of want to play it because it's insane and psychotic.
Positively reviewed games on Steam of the year. It has tons of charm and is incredibly unique, like super unique. It is like almost nothing else I have ever played. Next is Turbo Overkill, and oh my god, is this game so awesome. It really takes the best elements of a lot of older first-person shooters, again, very Doom-inspired, plus a bunch of pop culture references that are really, really fun. And everything it borrows in a very smart, innovative way. So it never feels like a rip-off of anything. It feels like it has its own identity, but that it very carefully, masterfully almost took.
I don't think this is the game I'm thinking of. So there was, I don't remember the guy who put it out there. I watched Bao the Whale, who's a VTuber, react to a video, and it's of a guy who she plays games with from time to time, and he was playing this game that actually looked really fucking good. And I know I'm off track because I'm bored with whatever she's bringing up right now. I'm gonna basically skip forward to see if she says anything else. No, I'm not even gonna lie, guys. Skipping forward, she just starts talking about video games the rest of the time. But like when I thought of this, I need to go see the game that it made me think of. Oh, the Whale. Up in here. Go here. Don't pull anything up I don't want to see. Roll down. Where is it? That's their chain together. Was it this one? No, it wasn't that one. Maxor is the guy who she was reacting to. Okay, let's just go do Maxor real quick. Maxor. Maybe I was just watching a normal Maxor video. Trying to remember. Videos. I might have just been watching a normal Maxor video. Yeah, Ultra Kill is what I was thinking of. And I know you can hear it real quick, but I'm gonna try to show you just how, like, this is 100% Doom inspired, and it's insane and just freaking badass. This is a Maxor video on it.
Undertale. So the game begins in a hallway, and I do not have permission to use the restroom. When I am lost, I always keep a lookout for my two best buddies, Smith and Wesson. So the game just kind of gets going immediately. I have interrupted elevator music.
It actually looks freaking badass, and I do actually kind of want to play this game. I watched this entire review. It's insane, and I love it, and I want it. I just want it. She was not talking about Overkill, and that she's a lesser human being for not discussing Overkill. Overkill? No, Ultra Kill. Ultra Kill is badass. I can't play too much because I don't know if Maxor would actually hit me or not, because this game's freaking awesome and I love it. Oh, I love it. I want to play it so badly. You have to battle clones of yourself and variants of yourself. It's freaking awesome. He describes it as like a religious text, like religion meets cybernetic robots. So yeah, I am interested in that. But all in all, to Alana Pierce, you're a retard. You pulled up the classic. You pulled up the entire classic. If it's something negative, don't talk about it, because if you talk about it, you're going to be just promoting it. Then even your entire point of the worry and the fear of small to mid-range studios shelling out money to put out garbage tier content for the sake of YouTubers and content creators to play and talk about and do stuff with, because I think that's going to make them make money. no, that's not going to work. Like that whole point doesn't even make financial sense, and that doesn't really make any logical sense. And then you brought up the fact that whatever that studio was that made the Walking Dead game and the Kong Skull Island game, well, people now know that they made those games. They know about the creation of those games. They know what happened with those games, and they're going to be like, well, we're not going to fund this studio. They made garbage tier content. They made shit games. It's games solely for content creators to play, to go put out there, go like, God damn, you guys really don't know how to make games. Like there's things here that just don't make any logical sense. And you're trying to, again, we could go back to your tweet that got me alerted to this. I didn't even know this was a year-old tweet, but your whole tweet, I said what I said, was wrong. Everything you said was wrong. Everything you said was idiotic. Nothing here even makes any logical sense. Why would you even put this out and try to echo this point today when yet again, we have plenty of evidence to go against all your points here? It really does just come off as people are talking about negative games and I don't like it. Talk about the good games. Well, okay, if we don't talk about the negative stuff, then how do studios know that they don't? How do people know not to buy these games? How do people know? How do studios know that they don't want these games? If you don't talk about it, it doesn't go away. If you don't talk about it, it just hides it, really. It just makes it worse. Sweet Baby Inc. is well known now. Everybody really freaking hates Sweet Baby Inc. Nobody talked about Sweet Baby Inc. They'd still be there, and they wouldn't be crying all the time for the fact that people know that they exist. Your logic doesn't line up. Like, it's legitimately retarded. But that's pretty much all I had. I already knew that this stream was gonna go long. I don't really have anything really else to say. I didn't know what her points were, and just ended up realizing like your entire video is pointless. You know what? I'm just gonna quote tweet her. I'm gonna quote tweet her. None of the things in your here. This video is garbage. None. Crap, I'm having an issue. Shut up. None of you. Yes, okay, I was spelling it right. Hey, Iron, how are you, buddy? None of your points. I spelled your wrong. Your points make logical sense, and there is tons. Yeah, I'm doing it again. Tons. Okay. There is tons of evidence to dispute your claim. Why would you echo these points again in 2020? Well, actually, no, it's 2025, but there. What have I missed? You basically missed the entire stream. For a recap, okay? Alana Pierce put out this tweet today of a video that she made back in 2023. I watched the entirety, well, actually not the entirety of the video, I'll be fair here. I watched all up until this point where she just starts praising games from 2023 that she really, really liked. And these are the games that she wished more people played and acknowledged. But she just talked about and complained that people were talking about negative games the entire time. And I'm not even gonna lie, it's the similar arguments that we see a lot of times within like our spheres. Like, why the heck do you talk about the Marvels, or act like you're just promoting it and putting more eyes on the content, even though that doesn't really make much sense considering that didn't happen. And those are two examples of it really biting them in the butt. And But one of the points, I'm not even going to lie, Cloud and Iron, this was a real point that was made. She said, and she feared that medium to small sized studios were purposefully going to start putting out bad games like Lord of Rings Gollum or the Kong Skull Island game, because then YouTubers and streamers will make content out of it. And that will promote the game and get people buying the game. I don't know what her point is, because again, this came out in 2023, mind you. Echoed the point today or yesterday. Tried to get people to watch the thing and be like, I said what I said. But the thing is, because of 2024, we have plenty of evidence to disprove your point and the fact that you're just retarded. Can we send her back to Australia? Well, to be fair, Cloud, we go back to her Twitter account. She did say, also, if eggs aren't $2 when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm effing leaving. So technically, yes, you can. We can, because they're not $2 right now. So let's send her back to Australia. I think this is a superior idea. I think this is a good idea. By the way, I haven't even dug too deep into her art scandal and everything like that. I know Savvy has, and the other people, and she also was tweeting out about like other stuff that was happening today. Like, okay, obviously I'm opting to engage with losers now, but also for the record, I've never slept with, been on a date with, kissed, or even so much as held hands with anyone who worked in the games industry. This is a complete and total lie, considering she dated Blaine from Rooster Teeth. Now, we could argue that Blaine from Rooster Teeth wasn't full-fledged within the games industry, but let's not mix words here. Rooster Teeth was also a gaming industry, was a part of the gaming industry. They did promote stuff within the gaming industry. So acting like you did not do any of this is a total lie. Free PR for a bad product is not normally a good thing. That's correct, Legatus. Why are women gamers almost all just awful? Savvy and obvious exception. Well, like, not Iron. I don't know what it is. I think it's because of the periods and stuff. But like, I will point out, I have a poll. I have a poll up that oh Jesus Christ, 10 votes and people are already saying yes. Okay, well, to further Iron's point, we'll be talking, I guess, about another awful woman in gaming tomorrow, because I do have it pulled up. Let me see if I can see how I'm gonna do. I'm saving this for tomorrow, by the way. I'm not doing it tonight. I'm not doing it tonight. I'm gonna give you guys a little taste. So this is my Spotify. This is this is Power User with Taylor Lorenz. So this is Taylor Lorenz podcast. It's called Doxed, Harassed, and Silenced: The Fallout of Gamergate 2.0. I'll do the live stream, but I'm the reason why I wasn't wanting to do a live stream was because I was afraid I was gonna get hit. And for those of you who might actually be wondering here, actually I'm gonna see something. Give me a moment. I'm trying something real quick. Just give me a moment. And because I don't want to constantly Spotify video. I do this. And I do this. Will this work? Let's see if this will work. Window. Will this work? Don't know. Okay, never mind. That did not work. Okay, I'm gonna tweak around with this because I don't want to want to do this, but this podcast with Taylor Lorenz is her interviewing Alyssa Mercante. I'm not going through it, but I'm just gonna you can see what she's already pulling up. You're trying to censor out who made these things, but it's right there. It's not really successful when you already know who these are all from, and it's pretty obvious who these are from. You literally didn't do it right there. Are you that retarded? Are you that idiotic? But that is going to be something that we are we're going to be reacting to tomorrow, I guess. So, yeah. There's that. Okay, what I will say, it might be tomorrow, it might be Wednesday. It really just depends on how tomorrow goes or on how Wednesday goes. Because if tomorrow is just really, really busy, then I'm not going to be doing any of that. And by the way, I'm delete. I'm tired of those things. Did you have today off for work? No, I didn't. I had to work. I had to work like normal. I had to work like I normally do every single day. So I'm not lucky like that. But yes, if it keeps being streamed, I will stream it. If it's not streamed, I might do a reaction video to it. It really just depends. I've even looked at what today's like news was out because I was just constantly focusing in on all the other stuff that was happening. Oh wait, no. I quickly checked out Fandom Pulse. Okay, I quickly checked it out because I was like, what's the news going on right now? Like, what's some of the things happening? People are still talking about the Kingdom Come Deliverance thing, which I have a video on that I could cut up. I can slightly, I need to edit and put out, and I might do that after this, but Mark Hamill announces he will protest Trump's inauguration by quitting social media for 1 week. Then posted again 8 hours later. Dude's failing, man. Dude's failing. Dude is just fucking failing left, right, and center. And it's just beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to see. But that's pretty much all I had right now. Not much going on. He should quit forever. He should. He literally should. And by the way, I don't remember who the heck told me to check out the Alana Pierce thing. This was all because of a Twitter comment. I wish I remembered, but I don't remember it. And now I'm sad. But I want to give that person proper credit. But it is what it is. What is this? Wizards of the Coast just pulled support and funding for VMNO? I don't even know what that is. Okay, but on that note, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. If I can edit that video for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I might have to put in like a small editor's note there at the end because that whole thing, I might actually have to re-edit it now that I think about it, or re-record it, because that whole thing is just it's a whole weird situation that's going on there. Some of the PR aspects I do like, some of it I do think are messy. And a lot of it does come down to like some mistranslated posts here and there and people thinking certain things, but it is what it is. And no one noticed. Yeah, that's right, Legatus. But that's pretty much all I have on. I mean, I can keep going. Could keep going for another 30 minutes if we have something I can find to talk about. I don't really think I have anything else I can talk about. Oh, I did notice. So real quick, before I forget, and I thought of this because I just saw a Turkey Tom video. Before I forget, one, somebody please put out a wilderness check on Destiny because I am worried about after today and what might be going on there. But two, I need to watch the video, or I need to wait till he, I guess, puts it up for everybody to see, because instead of you know, doing what normal people do. Turkey Tom on his Tom Dark channel. Not even lying. This was an all-day thing. I'm gonna see. Does he have? Is the VOD still up? Probably not. No, it is not. This is Tom Dark channel, or was it his? Give me a moment. I am checking something, and then I'll let you guys know. Tom Dark live. Tom Dark live. Let's see if the stream's still up. If not, he has already taken it down. I have to wait till it gets edited. But okay, so Turkey Tom today on his channel was literally forced to finally talk about the Destiny stuff. Mainly because there's supposedly a lawsuit going on about Revenge Prawn, and he had no choice but to fully discuss everything that's been going on with Destiny. And I wish I took a screenshot of the thumbnail that he was using. And how bro did not want to make that video. Because instead of doing what you would normally do when pointing out like somebody you were trying to discuss, like if I'm coming over here, here's his Tom Dark live channel. If I'm going to be doing, you know, like a live stream on Elon Musk, I would have me and Elon Musk there. This is somebody else in a new drama that's just retarded that I also just freaking love because it's all around retarded. This Lewis McClung guy, it's insanity and retardation at its finest. But so you would do this when you're doing a live stream about somebody in particular. Turkey Tom decided, and again, I wish I had the thumbnail because it was, you wouldn't have known that he was talking about Destiny because it was a picture of him, kind of like how he is here, and the picture of Chungus behind him. And for those of you, for those of you who don't know who Chungus is, this is Chungus Bugs Bunny. Chungus Bugs Bunny. Yeah. Instead of showing off Destiny, he had a picture of Chungus Bugs Bunny behind him. Big Chungus. Why? I don't know. Because I'm pretty much convinced that he did not want to do the video in the first place. He was trying to hide the fact that he was going to be doing this stream. And he didn't want people knowing that he was going to be talking about Destiny. Because Destiny is his e-daddy. And he doesn't want to talk ill about Destiny. He wants to do some nasty, no things to Destiny all day and night. That's what he wants to do. That's what he enjoys doing. But okay, enough of this. I need to start wrapping it up. You guys have all been wonderful. You guys have all been amazing. I love each and every last one of you. This has been a great day. Fantastic day. Great Trump inauguration. And I will try to be back either tomorrow, if not Wednesday, for the, more than likely for the Taylor Lorenz. How about this? I'll just say I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow because right now I don't really have much for content for tomorrow. Everybody was just sitting down talking all day and night about the inauguration. There's probably going to be some fallout about the inauguration, and I could do content on that tomorrow as well. But we will be reacting to the Alyssa Mercante Taylor Lorenz video. And I'll try not to blow up. So, yeah. But in the meantime, guys, thank you all for spending time with me. Thank you all for coming out here, having a grand old time, except for Cloud, because you're gay. And until next time, guys, take care and bye for now.